Now to tonight's Fox 7 Focus. We are about midway through the legislative session here in Texas. A lot of contentious legislation has been up for debate so far, with several key developments just in the past week. Joining us to break it all down is Scott Braddock, editor of QuorumReport.com. Scott, as always, thanks for being here.
It's my pleasure. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. So first of all, let's talk about that THC ban. A lot of people have been talking about it.
Yeah.
The Texas Senate passed that bill to ban THC this past week. Talk to us about the significance of that and where do things go from here?
Well, first thing to know about it is that Texans do not agree with this in any way, shape, or form. In fact, there was a poll that came out this week that was done, interestingly, by the pollster for Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, a respected Republican polling operation. A guy named Mike Basiles found that 68% of Texas voters don't agree with this crackdown. They would like to see THC products stay legal, but with strict restrictions. People don't want to see kids doing this. But it's also interesting, even Republican voters, about 57% of Republicans don't agree with this across-the-board crackdown on THC. The Lieutenant Governor, though, seems to be almost personally driven by this, and it seems that this is a move where the Lieutenant Governor, Dan Patrick, is out of step with President Trump, who signed that farm bill that allowed for all of this to get opened up in the first place.
From one contentious issue to another, abortion kind of came up this week with some Republicans, I guess, seeking to amend the state's near total ban or at least clarify it. Can you talk to us about that?
There was a hot debate over the last 2 years about the medical exceptions for abortions. Right now in Texas, it's important to stress that with the abortion ban that we have, there's not even exceptions for rape and incest like a lot of other states that have cracked down. That those places do have those exceptions. In Texas, the only exception, this idea of having the woman's life be in danger, it's very vague the way it's written in the law, and so now you have some top Republicans in the House and Senate who have filed legislation on this to do what they say is just cleaning up the language and making it easier for doctors and hospitals to understand what's allowed under the law. The Lieutenant Governor, to give him some credit, he's talked about this in a way that's pretty nuanced. He says that he thinks the law is clear now, but he's open to the idea that doctors and hospitals don't agree, so they want to work on this. But the big question mark is Governor Abbott. Is he going to sign or veto this?
One thing we know the governor would sign would be his school choice voucher plan. That is sort of moving along. We saw it pass the Senate. But there's a little bit of a complication, right? We have kind of two different pieces of legislation comparing the Senate to the House, right?
Yeah, the House and Senate basically have the same price tag for what the voucher bill would cost. It's supposed to start at about $1 billion, and in both plans it grows to nearly $5 billion within 4 or 5 years. So it's very expensive. But the details of the plans are different. But I can tell you and report for the first time on your show here that I'm hearing chatter from a lot of House Republicans who have signed on to the legislation in the House, who are growing uncomfortable with the way that the public education chairman is handling this. Apparently he's not really talking to them about what the details are, and he's not acting like he's open at all to changing his proposal much to allay the concerns of some very conservative legislators who want to see things added to it, like testing and accountability for some of these private schools that would get the school voucher money. And so I'm not sure that this is going to just rocket on through the House process.
So another thing that happened this week, we heard from Senator John Cornyn that he is officially running for re-election. Not a surprise there. But I guess where a surprise could come in is what Attorney General Ken Paxton might be doing. He has floated the idea of challenging Senator Cornyn. How serious do you think that is? And should Senator Cornyn be worried?
Yeah, this talk from Paxton's getting louder. He had previously teased out that he might run against Cornyn, and then this past week he was in Washington making the rounds, talking to some journalists up there, the inside the Beltway type of folks, and he was telling them he needs to raise as much as $20 million. That's what Paxton said he needs to be able to challenge Cornyn. I think in a Republican primary in Texas, he probably really only needs between $8 to $10 million. I think that it's very hard to take out an incumbent senator, but it's something that can happen in a time when all of our politics seem to be upside down. Big question for this. Would Donald Trump endorse John Cornyn for re-election? If he does, I think Paxton might back off. But if there's a chance that Paxton could get that endorsement, if he goes after the man that they know in Washington as Big John, then I think all bets are off.
All right, Scott, something to watch for sure in the months to come. Scott Braddock of QuorumReport.com. Thanks as always for being here. We appreciate it.